Hello friends and fellow artists, Miss Katie and Dottie here. Today we're going to work on a sculpture project. We're going to use Model Magic. So if you don't have any Model Magic, please have your families reach out to me and let me know, and I can get that to you hopefully soon. Anyway, so let's look at what Model Magic is actually, and I'll show you some really great techniques in using it. But before we do that, we need to wash our hands really good with soap and water at the sink. Get all the dust and stuff off because Model Magic picks up all the dirt that's on your hands. All right, let's go wash our hands and then I will show you everything you need to know about Model Magic. Model Magic is a type of air dry clay made by Crayola. It comes in all types of bags and quantities. You may have primary colors, hopefully, which would be red, yellow, blue, and white. If you don't have the colors for some reason that I'm speaking of, then you can make your project be a different color, but we're going to be making little piglets. And I'm going to show you various techniques in manipulating Model Magic to the best of its capabilities. So some bonus tools that you can use would be something like a marker like this that you can roll your clay out flat. Some scissors sometimes can be helpful. These are just a tiny pair I have. Toothpicks can be nice for placing things. And then when we make the eyes, I'm going to show you a really cool trick, and it uses straws. I've cut these straws down so they're a little easier to work with. I have 3 different sizes here. You may have one size. Anyway, straws work really good. You can also use the top of the marker for the same technique I'm going to show you. And you can also use just your hands to build the eyes as well if you don't want to use straws. Another thing that would be great is if you can work on a very, very clean surface. I like to put down some wax paper to work with so my clay does not stick to my surface. You would not want to work on paper because your clay will very much stick to the paper. So if you don't have wax paper, just make sure that you clean the table really well first. All right, I'm going to show you some techniques now and we'll get started on our project. So I went ahead and taped down my wax paper so that when I go to roll things out, it doesn't move around. I'm actually going to take my rings off also. In case you wear rings, you probably want to take off rings or jewelry. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to get out my white. And I'm going to mix the base color for my pig. So my piglet will be pink. My pig's going to be pink. Yours may be a different color, but pigs can be different colors than pink. And you can decide. You're going to want to grab a fair amount, not too much, but estimate about how big your pig will be. This is probably a little too much, and I know I'm going to need white for other things, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that out. And I feel like this is going to be a good amount. It's just going to be a matter of kind of looking at it and just deciding. To make my pink, what I'm going to do is actually take the very smallest amount of red to white and mix it together. Mix it, mix it, mix it until it's fully mixed in. Now, if you want a darker pink, then use more red. But for now, I would say start with a little bit and then go from there, because you're going to be surprised at how dark it gets really quick. So I'm going to speed up my mixing so you don't have to watch me mix this all day, and we'll see how it turns out. All right, it looks like it's pretty mixed in. It looks very even in color. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is pretty important, and that is that anytime you're going to make an animal, I would recommend portioning out your animal into all of its parts. Okay? And actually, now that I'm looking at this, I'm I'm asking myself, do I have enough clay here? If you start to portion out your animal into its head, its body, and so on, and you don't have enough, stop what you're doing and go ahead and mix up a little bit more. So I'm going to draw on here kind of what I'm talking about. But my pig's going to have these parts. It's going to have a head. It's going to have a body. And then it's going to have 4 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's also going to have some ears, a snout, and a tail. So I know I need to portion my head out into these pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a little bit extra. Okay, so I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Actually, somebody wants to come in and say hello. Well, hello, Mr. Piglet. Thanks for joining us. Sure, no problem. Just want to see what you're going to make. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be fun. This is a very bright pink compared to this piggy, but I feel like it's kind of just a classic pink. But if you want to make something more like this color, that would be nice too. So you might want to start with the body. And then, let's see, we're going to pull out just enough for its little legs. 2, 3, 4. And then have some left over for the ears and the snout and the tail. Then I have this left over, so I think I'm going to go with this. I can always kind of redo stuff. So it's going to be something like this. So that's going to be for the legs, head, body, and the rest. So, but as you're making your Model Magic project, the most important thing you can do is roll everything into a nice round ball before you put it together. Because if you just start, oh, cat hair. If you just start pressing and then putting together and trying to smooth things out like you do regular clay, it's not going to be so great. This clay is air dry and it attaches to itself really well. So I'm going to roll my head into a ball. Roll, roll, roll between my hands like this. And then I'm going to look at it. Do I have any cracks? It's pretty good. Get it nice and smooth. Okay, I'm satisfied with that. Roll your next piece. You can roll on the table like this if you want. I find that rolling between your hands is a little easier, but whatever you think is easiest. I'm gonna roll his body. Okay, there's his body part. So I could start attaching. I think I'm going to go ahead and just make sure these are going to be equal first. This is really the most important part here. This is how you're going to get your legs to be equal. You're going to look at them first and decide, are they the same size? Do you want them to be the same size? Sometimes back legs are bigger than front legs. You can kind of determine what you want there, but I'm going to do them all the same size to keep it kind of easy, but these balls feel pretty close, so I'm going to be happy with that. If you need to take some clay from somewhere else, do that, okay? So let's go back to the body. The body of a pig is kind of long, isn't it? It's long. In fact, I almost could have made the whole head and body one piece if I wanted to. But since we're making a pig, I was kind of thinking that I can kind of show you how to make a lot of different animals in using this method. So you could, you know, attach it in different ways to form different animals. But I'm going to form, oh, my head is really big compared to my body. I think it'll be kind of funny. I wanted him to have really big eyes, so I made him have a big head. So I'm going to attach these on. Now, if your clay is dry and it's not sticking, kind of pull it apart like this. Back and forth, and get it to stick. You can also dip your finger in water and rub it on. That can be helpful. And that's going to be my first attachments. Next, I'm going to go to these little legs. I'm going to roll them out like so. Roll them out kind of small at one end. So let's do this one. with maybe one finger or two fingers. Roll it out, keeping one end big like this. Okay. Legs. Now to get those kind of back legs like this, we could also put little hooves on here. That would be kind of cute. That would be kind of cute. Okay, so I'm gonna just press the leg out just a little bit. Okay. I'm doing very simple legs. You guys can do, you can do something a little bit different if you'd like, but this is just kind of how I'm showing you. Feel free to change your legs however. So I'm going to attach them just by putting them on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. I do feel like some hooves would be really cute. And here's the start of my piggy. Now, you may find, oh, piggy does not stand well. What you're gonna have to do is really kind of adjust them. Maybe bring the legs out and really kind of mess with them until he stands up better. You might kind of squat him down there, kind of press him down a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see this very well, but this leg got kind of bent here. Once he's dry, he's gonna stand a lot better. All right, so let's look at some of the other tools we could start using. We could make a little bit of a hoof here if we wanted to use the same color. Maybe cut this across a little bit at the top and then press this right into the front, just one little line there. That kind of looks hoofy. You could also certainly make your hooves a different color by rolling little balls of clay and then attaching it to the bottom to make his hooves. That would be really cute. I'm just gonna keep this a little simple for you guys. Okay. Now for the fun part is his little piggy face. So with his face, instead of pulling out a snout, which we totally could possibly do, that might actually be a really great way to do it. But first I'm going to kind of mark around where his eyes are going to go. And his eyes are going to kind of go down low on the sides a little bit, okay? On the sides down low. Let's mark those before we work on his ears, because putting his eyes in it will help us determine where his ears are going to be. Now here's the rest of our clay that we reserved for the details of his face. We're going to take a little pinch of clay for his snout and roll it into a ball. Then we're going to roll it out. Roll out the snout. This would be kind of a long snout. So what I'm going to do is then I'm going to press it. Press it down. And when you press it down, maybe you can make one of those like little ridges in it. And then we'll just simply place it right onto our little piggy. Okay, he's coming along. Let's go ahead and also, if you have a toothpick or like maybe the end of a paintbrush, if it was small enough, you could mark out the little snout lines. Okay, I think this toothpick will work better for this, but you can look around and find what kind of a tool can you use. I'm going to use my toothpick this way than that way. And I'm going to make his little nostrils, if you will. Okay, and then let's look at his ears while we are working with this clay. Ears are going to be the same thing as the legs, where you want to first, I don't want you to just make one really awesome ear, stick it on there, and then try to make the other one match. What you're going to do is you're going to make them at the same time. So roll both of your balls and compare them. Are they the same size? Okay. Feels almost the same size. I think I'm going to take a little bit out of here. And for the ears, now there's a couple ways we could do this. We could press it down flat, press it down a little bit flat, and then pinch one side like this, and then flatten it out again. So we're starting to create this like a little bit of a triangle, I think. So we're gonna press it down flat and then pinch one side like this, and it kind of bunches it up. Then we're gonna press it down flat again. So it's press, pinch, press. So let's see if something like this would work. I feel like something like this might just be the ticket. What we can do now is we can place his ears on about like this. We're gonna place them on up and out like so, with the tips going down. Tips going down. So yeah, you could do something like this, but make sure they're stuck on there really good. I'm thinking folding them in a little bit would be cute. So fold them over. I might keep them out just for now, a little bit, so that I can work on his eyes better. For now, I'm gonna keep them open a little bit. So now is gonna be the fun part where we get to roll out some clay. So to make his eyes, and you guys can totally decide what kind of colors you wanna use, but I'm gonna start with like a white background for my eyes. And I'm gonna take my clay, always roll your clay into a ball, make it nice and smooth, and then roll it out with your marker or a rolling pin or whatever it is you have. And you're gonna wanna roll it pretty thin, but not crazy thin. So let's look at this thickness. It's pretty thin, guys, but it's not super thin. You'll know once you punch it out if it's gonna work. So to make our eyes, we're gonna actually use straws. I have this really big straw and I could punch out a big circle, but I feel like this here is gonna be a better size. So I'm gonna take my straw and punch out a circle. This straw is a little bit bent, so I'm having some trouble with it. Let's see. Straw. Okay, let's try that again. You might have to try this a few times. It's not cutting very well. If you can use the end that you didn't cut off, that's probably better. So it sticks inside of the straw like that. Go ahead and press it right onto your clay like so. And when you press it on your clay, it sticks on there. All right? So press and cut it out like a cookie cutter, and it's gonna stick in there, and then you're gonna press it directly onto your project. Press it directly onto your project. So now we can kind of build up the eye colors. So this would be the white part. And then, what color should our pig's eyes be? Maybe green, maybe brown, maybe blue. I think I'll do like light blue because I have this blue here. So I'm gonna make a light blue by starting with white and adding a little bit of blue at a time till it looks about right. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, if you have a smaller straw, that's awesome. Like this, I have this smaller straw. I could go boom, right there. But if you don't have a smaller straw, this is what you're going to do. And this is the same thing for the first part of your eyes. You're gonna just take a little bit of clay, like so, roll it into a ball, and make sure you do both of them first so that they'll be matching. This feels way too big. So I'm gonna maybe take one of those and cut it in half. Now this is kind of also a great time to use your toothpick. You can go ahead and press this down. You could even use like, I have this bottle cap. I could press it down like so. Press it down. Some silver paint in there. Press it down. And then when you take your toothpick, you can just place your eyes on like so. Now I feel like our piggy eyes could definitely use some black, but you may not have black. So what I would suggest is waiting for this to dry, and then once it's dry, we'll put black marker for the pupils. All right. Now, last but not least, I feel like this is really important. Well, let's flip his little ears. Flip his little piggy ears. Yeah, you can just kind of form his little ears there. You know what else I was just thinking would be so cute? Is what if we had a darker pink for his cheeks? Just for fun. Just for fun. We'll give him some little rosy cheeks. We're gonna press it down again. Press, press. Oh, that's kind of cute. All right, so let's look at what is such a fun part is his little curly tail. Little curly tail. So we've got this last bit of pink, and all of my pink matches because I proportioned it out and I rationed it to be just enough for the body parts, right? And you can do that with any animal you make, like a cat or a dog, a bear. All right, let's try that tail. You're gonna roll it out into a ball so it doesn't have cracks, and then roll it nice and smooth. I'm gonna roll it out to be about, about 1.5 inches, although yours may be different. Yours may be longer. And then possibly could we roll it around this straw, leaving some space in between. Hi, Ray. You wanna come up and say hello? Come on up, Ray. Goodness. Anyway, guys, Ray really wants something here. So here's how you get like a little bit of a spiral tail. You wanna come say hello, Ray? You wanna see the piggy? Here's Ray. So here's our little piggy. My feet got a little smushed as I was working on him, but you can go back and pull his little feet out, and you're gonna really kind of need to babysit this, guys, as you are letting him dry. Check on it. Is it drying properly? You may need to like crinkle up some wax paper and set it underneath to kind of prop him up to dry. You may need to kind of, post him up on something. So yeah, like make sure that he's drying up properly. All right. So I feel like, you could almost glue him down to a piece of wax paper like this, and then when he's done, peel him off the wax paper. That might be a good trick in getting him to stay stable. I haven't tried that, but I feel like that would work really well. Yeah, so make a piglet, choose whatever colors you want, and then, yeah, make maybe a whole family if you'd like. What other animals can you make? Yeah, I hope you guys have fun with this. So I'll show you how he looks once I get his pupils in too. Hello, boys and girls, I'm back. And here is my finished piglet. As you can see, I added black marker to his eyes and to his nostrils. And then I actually went ahead and used a little bit more white Model Magic for little white specks in his eyes because he was looking like really freaked out until I did that. It gave him like a softening of his eyes. So I feel like you could definitely play around with the color. This was a very exaggerated like cartoon pink. I gave him those little cheeks and stuff, but oh, you know what else would be cute? I was thinking a bow, I don't know, around his neck, like a bow tie. Maybe your piglet has a hat, or maybe he's more realistic than mine. I don't know. I feel like you guys are gonna do really cool things with this project, and I'm very excited to see all of your little piglets in our next Zoom meeting. So Bye until then.